Let's get into the news, Ralph. Huge news coming out Friday afternoon that the Ring of Honor New Japan G1 Supercard has sold out Madison Square Garden in a matter of minutes.
Right.
The first show to ever be at Madison Square Garden, not WWE, since the 1920s, and they sold out. How huge is this in the world of professional wrestling?
Well, I think just overall for the wrestling industry, this is pretty big. Like you mentioned, this is the first time in I don't know how many years where somebody other than the WWE has sold out Madison Square Garden. And the way they did it, most of the tickets were sold during the pre-sale, and then to have the rest of them sell out within 15 to 16 minutes, it's certainly impressive, and it's a testament to all the work that New Japan and the guys in Ring of Honor, all the work that they've done in such a short period of time, and really to get recognized without really a major television deal. It's certainly impressive, and kudos to those two companies.
Of course, and one of the great things about this is the work of the Bullet Club, who do shows on both companies, Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling, particularly the Elite. That is Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes, Hangman Page, Marty Scurll, all those guys doing a phenomenal job, really making their brand work, and in essence, helping Ring of Honor and New Japan work. And of course, the stuff with Chris Jericho going to New Japan Pro Wrestling really helped the exposure this year. Rey Mysterio doing a couple shows there. So some of the casual wrestling fans are now getting sprinkled into New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor. And the only thing that is the question now is, how would this work for TV perspective? Can they get something in the works that can compete with WWE as far as television? Because if they could do that, WWE has a competitor again, like they did in WCW.
Right. I think it's certainly an interesting time in the wrestling industry because, like you just mentioned, for the first time since WCW has been in business, WWE might have a legitimate contender and some legitimate competition in New Japan and Ring of Honor. Like you mentioned with the Bullet Club and the Elite, they've certainly earned the credits due there because of the work that they've put in. I'm sure at some point they'll get some type of major TV deal. It just seems like a no-brainer and something that's going to happen eventually because we talked about this yesterday, how WWE, the reason people watch WWE or watch wrestling for that matter is because of the moments, right? They want to see special moments. And this seems like one of those things that's going to go down in professional wrestling history as a big moment. I haven't felt like I've seen anything like that in WWE in quite some time. Maybe the thing that compares most to actually having a moment that feels special is when Daniel Bryan won the championship because that was a legitimate movement. And this seems to have steam like that. You know, the way that they sold out Madison Square Garden, the way that they're getting fans through social media, and, you know, without a major TV deal, it's definitely impressive. So I think it's only a matter of time before that actually happens.
Now, there's two big things that help when it comes to New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor. The first is Ring of Honor is owned by Sinclair Broadcasting. So that means Sinclair's affiliates can definitely air this on Saturday night. I'm sure they need programming that night anyway, because Saturday nights are probably the hardest to fill with compelling television. So they could definitely put this show on there. The other thing, too, is that New Japan Pro Wrestling already airs a post-taped show on Access TV, which is owned by Mark Cuban.
Right.
And that's where Jim Ross and Josh Barnett do the commentary. And they've done, anytime they're in the United States, they do the live shows. So this past G1 Climax show was aired live on Access TV. The only problem is a lot of subscribers to cable don't get that network yet. So if you have Frontier or AT&T Uverse or DirecTV Now, I know they have it because it's all within the AT&T bubble. But Comcast doesn't. So that's big. That's big.
Right.
So if they're able to do some kind of simulcast where it's on Access TV, but also all the Sinclair broadcasting, I think this will be very huge for Ring of Honor and very huge for New Japan Pro Wrestling, especially because New Japan's trying to expand into North America.
Right. One thing that I was going to add to that was, so if you listen to Jim Ross's podcast, he recently spoke with the owner of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he said that he did not want to compete with the WWE. He was only primarily concerned with putting out the best product that he possibly could for his company. And I think at this point they might have to rethink that because I think they can legitimately compete with the WWE as long as they have all their ducks in a row. And, you know, something like this where you're selling out Madison Square Garden and the way that they did it, it's impressive.